Medicare works in kind of the ladder format, which is important to understand before we get into it. On that first rung on the ladder is going to be your canes, which your canes are going to be your most basic ambulatory device. We have a couple different types of canes. So we have single point canes, and that's going to be your canes that are single point. They come in two different types of handle sizes. We have the J-shaped cane, which is this pink one right here, and it comes straight this way. It's got a little bit of a foam handle. Otherwise, we have your straight cane, which has just a little bit more of a fitted handle. This comes down to what the patient wants. They come in all different colors and designs, so that comes down to their comfort. When adjusting the cane, they're all adjustable. You want to adjust it to the patient's height. So when their arms are down at their side, you want the cane to be at the break of their wrist. To adjust it, you just simply unscrew at the bottom, and then you simply push to adjust to the correct height. Then you screw that piece back in and check to make sure that it's at the correct height, which is at the break of their wrist. The other part of canes, so these are the single point canes. The other is going to be your quad canes. Quad canes are going to have a base that has 4 on the bottom. They come in 2 different sizes of a large base and a smaller base. What you want to make sure is that when a patient is choosing it for their left or their right side, you want to make sure that the straight side is up against their body. These canes adjust the same as the single point canes. You unscrew at the bottom and push to adjust. Then tighten that back up for the patient's safety. It's going to be the same height measuring form, which is going to be at the break of the wrist. A cane is going to be used for somebody who has an unsteady gait or needs that little extra support. A lot of times the doctor will decide for you whether they want the patient to have a single point cane or if they want the patient to have a quad cane. A lot of times it will come down to the patient's comfort and how they feel as far as stability with either cane. It's important to size the cane for the patient and let them walk around the store to see what feels comfortable or wherever you're at, so that way they have that ability to kind of try it out and know the difference between the two. Next on that ladder is walkers. So this is going to be your standard walker. It comes in your standard size, which is up to 350 pounds, and it comes in a bariatric, which is 350 pounds or higher. With this, you're going to size it the same way that you would size the cane. You want it to be at the break of the wrist, which again, it's the push buttons down here to adjust in height. What you want to make sure is that the patient is not hunched over. You want to make sure that they're standing up straight. This is the standard walker that Medicare covers. Medicare and a supplement will cover this. They will pay the standard amount when it comes to a 4-wheeled walker and a seat. So this is going to be your 4-wheeled walker. A lot of times you'll hear it called a rolling walker, a rollator. It comes with lots of different names. So we want to make sure that when they're calling to ask about it, that we're asking the correct questions. Are you looking for a 4-wheeled walker with a seat? Explain your item to me. They adjust, and you want to do the same thing. So then you pull it up and adjust it to the break of the wrist, just like you would a cane or any other ambulatory item. Then that just screws back in there. As far as the brakes for it go, the brakes are important to go over with the patient because you don't want them to fall. With it, if they're going too fast, it works just like a bike brake. You pull up and that stops you if you're going. The brakes are only on the back wheels, they're not on the front. If the patient goes to sit down, you want to make sure that those brakes are on, so you push it down. And that locks the brakes in place for him. Medicare will cover the standard walker, but they will not cover the upgraded walker. So they will cover the $95 of the standard walker on this, but the patient typically has them a copay for these walkers. The seat height on the walkers, they do not adjust. So it's important to have the patient come in here so that way you can get their proper height and their fitting. With this, you want it to be that their hips are higher than their knees when they're sitting in the chair. These hold up to 350 pounds. And then we have bariatric ones as well. The bariatric, this one is the largest one that we have. It holds up to 600 pounds. It's called the Mighty Mac. So it's a larger as far as width of the seat for it. All of the walkers, they do fold up. It just depends on the style that you pick. If it's more of a rounder oval seat like this, the way that it folds up, there's this little grip right here, and you pull up. So it folds up, and it's an easy to go for the patient. This kind of a four-wheeled walker, where the seat is underneath, you pull up the seat, and there's a bar in here that you pull up, and then it's easy to go. The walkers that are standard, they have what's called this little lock and load piece right here that pushes up in here so it does not flop open when the patient's trying to put it in their car. That just pulls down then and opens back up. It's important to note that when you are providing the patient with an ambulatory item, you need to know if they've ever had one and how long they've had it. Medicare has a 5-year rule. So if they've gotten a standard walker and then in 2.5 years they want to get a four-wheeled walker with a seat, they would have to privately pay for it. With a cane, if they get a cane and then in 2.5 years their condition has worsened that they need to have a walker, then you would have to have the supporting chart notes, the documentation that would explain why they need the walker versus the cane.